You can never fully sleep because you're always on.
You gotta take turns.
High alert.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping and got woken up to being kicked in the face, pepper sprayed.
When I get clean, I'm not coming back out here ever again. It doesn't feel like much of a community anymore. Present myself to my kids and stuff like that. I want to be clean before I go back and see them again. So I don't want to be that parent. Every time my mom would get clean, she'd come back and we'd be good for a couple months and then she'd relapse. And I've just been too scared to go back home and I do my shit, get clean, and then I come home.
Right.
And that's it.
Welcome to Homeless U.S. News.
In the dim back streets of Phoenix, Arizona, life flickers between fragile hope and crushing despair. They call this place the Valley of the Sun, a land once bursting with promise, thriving industry, and the raw heartbeat of the American dream. But behind that golden glow, thousands drift in heartbreaking silence, their stories swallowed by the cold desert wind. I feel the heavy ache of it. These are people like us, trapped in an unforgiving storm. Their silent battles pierce the heart, showing how thin the veil is between comfort and chaos. In 2025, 9,734 souls in Maricopa County faced homelessness, a 3% rise, unsheltered cases up 28%, per the Maricopa Association of Government's point-in-time count. These aren't stats, they're stories of courage, loss, and resilience. This isn't just homelessness, it's Phoenix's aching soul, calling for compassion before it vanishes. In Homeless U.S. News, I ask, what pains in Arizona's sunny mask have stirred your heart? The current landscape of homelessness in Arizona. Arizona, a land of sun-drenched deserts and endless horizons, has become the stage for one of America's most heartbreaking human struggles. Behind the postcard beauty of Phoenix and the glowing sunsets of Tucson lies a painful truth. Thousands have nowhere to call home. The 2025 point-in-time count shows over 14,700 Arizonans living without shelter, and in Maricopa County, more than 9,700 people face each night under the open sky. Shockingly, 81% are unsheltered, enduring blistering heat by day and cold winds by night. These aren't just numbers. They're lives caught in the crossfire of rising rents, low wages, and fading opportunities. In downtown Phoenix, rows of tents form a city within a city. Locals call it the Zone, where over 4,800 men and women struggle to survive amid concrete and dust. The air smells of burnt asphalt, the nights echo with silence, and every sunrise brings another battle to endure. In Tucson, where more than 2,200 people are homeless, the story repeats. Mothers, veterans, and workers push to the margins, clinging to fragments of hope beneath a scorching sky. At Homeless U.S. News, we've walked these streets, listened to these voices, and seen both pain and resilience up close. What do you think is driving this crisis in Arizona? Could it be happening in your city too? If these stories move you, hit subscribe, share your thoughts below, and help spark awareness. Through Homeless U.S. News, every voice counts. Together, we can turn empathy into action. Causes of homelessness in Arizona. Homelessness in Arizona isn't a single story. It's a storm of rising rents, stagnant wages, and lives unraveling quietly behind closed doors. Across Phoenix and Tucson, families once stable now face impossible math. A one-bedroom apartment costs around $1,600 a month, yet the minimum wage still sits at $14.35 an hour. Even working 2 jobs, many can't keep up. When the rent goes up and the paycheck doesn't, it only takes 1 hospital bill, 1 broken car, or 1 missed week of work to lose everything. In small towns like Apache Junction or Cochise County, the struggle feels even heavier. Affordable housing is nearly non-existent, and mental health services are stretched so thin they might as well not exist. People who need help most, single parents, veterans, the disabled, often fall through cracks so wide they never climb out. The result is a quiet migration from hope to survival, from homes to highways, from belonging to invisibility. For single mothers, the struggle cuts even deeper. The temptation of stimulants among Arizona's homeless. Under the fierce Arizona heat, addiction doesn't start as a craving, it starts as survival. On the sidewalks of Phoenix and the alleys of Tucson, meth and fentanyl become a lifeline for those who can't afford rest or safety. They use them not to escape reality, but to endure it, to stay awake when sleep feels dangerous, to find energy when hunger and fear take over. The Arizona Department of Health Services reports that nearly 7 in 10 unsheltered people in Maricopa County have used stimulants within the last year, a number that mirrors the growing desperation seen on the streets. In Phoenix's zone, dealers prey on weakness, exchanging small blue pills for scraps of food or a dry corner of pavement. Some take them just to keep their hearts beating through another night, but too often, those same pills stop those hearts for good. It's a cruel irony. What begins as a means to survive slowly becomes the reason so many don't. Here at Homeless US News, we share these truths because every life deserves to be seen, not forgotten. These aren't faceless addicts. They are people caught between fear and hope. If this story moves you, please subscribe to Homeless US News, leave a comment below, and tell us what you think could make a difference. Should we focus more on compassion, recovery, or reform? Your thoughts might be the first step toward a real solution. The harsh reality of outdoor living in Arizona. Under the relentless Arizona sun, life without shelter is a struggle few can truly imagine. By mid-morning, the heat already presses down like a weight, and by afternoon, the streets of Phoenix and Yuma burn as if the air itself were on fire. Pavement temperatures soar past 130 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt shoes, and shade becomes more valuable than gold. For the thousands living outdoors, there's no escape, no cool room, no running water, just the constant fight to stay alive under a sky that never forgives. Dehydration comes fast, lips crack, skin burns, and every breath feels heavier than the last. The desert doesn't kill quickly, it drains slowly, hour by hour, until hope fades with the setting sun. Among these faces is Daniel, a 52-year-old man who once built homes for others but now sleeps beside a strip of concrete downtown. After a back injury ended his construction job, bills piled up faster than he could pay, and soon the streets became his only home. His worldly belongings fit into a single shopping cart, a pair of worn boots, a Bible, and a fading photograph of his daughter. Every day, he sits outside a church waiting for volunteers to bring bottled water. The hardest part isn't the heat, he says, eyes squinting against the glare. It's being invisible in a city full of people. Through Homeless US News, we share voices like Daniel's, raw, human, and often overlooked. These stories remind us that homelessness in Arizona isn't just about poverty, it's about survival beneath a merciless sun and the quiet strength it takes to keep living when the world looks away. Impacts of homelessness. The consequences of homelessness in Arizona stretch far beyond those living on the streets. They ripple through entire communities, shaping public safety, healthcare, and the state's economy. Hospitals across Phoenix, Tucson, and Mesa report rising cases of untreated illness and heat stroke among the unsheltered. In 2025, Banner Health and Valleywise Medical Centers noted a 27% surge in emergency visits from homeless individuals, straining already limited budgets and forcing smaller clinics in Flagstaff and Yuma to rely on donations just to stay open. Public safety is also deeply affected. With limited shelter space, many sleep in parks or alleyways where theft, assault, and exploitation are daily risks. In downtown Phoenix, police respond to hundreds of encampment-related calls each month, not always due to crime, but because people have nowhere else to go. Meanwhile, makeshift shelters near residential zones heighten neighborhood tensions, testing the balance between compassion and fear. Economically, the burden is immense. Arizona spends about $500 million each year addressing homelessness through emergency services, law enforcement, and cleanup efforts, funds that could better serve prevention and housing. Through the lens of Homeless U.S. News, one truth stands out. Homelessness is not an isolated issue, but a shared responsibility. If this story moves you, subscribe to Homeless U.S. News and share your thoughts to turn awareness into action. The voices of the homeless in Arizona. Across Arizona's burning landscapes, the voices of the homeless rise like faint echoes in the desert wind, honest, weary, and yearning to be heard. Each one speaks not just of survival, but of a quiet strength that refuses to fade. Beneath the beauty of Phoenix's skyline and Tucson sunsets lies a reality that too few truly see. Thousands living without shelter, caught between exhaustion and hope. The 2025 point-in-time count revealed over 14,700 people enduring homelessness across the state, and behind every figure stands a life that has known loss, courage, and a desperate desire to belong again. These voices carry more than complaints, they carry truths. They speak of nights spent searching for safety, of mornings met with uncertainty, of dignity tested daily. They talk about rising rents, shrinking wages, and the feeling of being invisible in a place that seems to move faster than compassion. Each word shared is an act of defiance, a reminder that even when stripped of comfort, people still hold on to hope, still dream of stability, still long for someone to simply listen. Through Homeless U.S. News, we lend an ear to these voices. Because when society stops to truly listen, not judge, not look away, something powerful happens. Empathy begins to grow. And in that shared understanding lies the first step toward change, toward rebuilding lives, and toward restoring humanity's most vital bond, compassion. A bright future for the homeless in Arizona. In the midst of pain and uncertainty, a quiet wave of hope is rising across Arizona, a reminder that even in the harshest deserts, something beautiful can bloom. Communities are finally coming together with heart, not just policy. Across Phoenix, Tucson, and beyond, people are proving that compassion still has power. In downtown Phoenix, the Keys to Change program is giving more than just a roof. It's restoring purpose. Over 400 men and women have found temporary homes, counseling, and job training since 2025 began. Many of them, once invisible to society, are now earning paychecks, smiling again, and daring to dream. The Arizona Housing Coalition is building modular homes that rise in just 2 weeks, small, bright spaces filled with dignity instead of despair. Down in Tucson, mobile outreach teams work through the night, bringing water, food, and medicine to those still on the streets. Their presence reminds people they haven't been forgotten. Even in remote areas like Apache and Yavapai counties, solar-powered microshelters now stand as beacons of renewal, powered by sunlight and human kindness alike. These changes don't erase the crisis overnight, but they prove that transformation begins when empathy outweighs indifference. Here at Homeless U.S. News, we'll keep sharing these sparks of hope, one story at a time. If these moments move you, subscribe to Homeless Us News. Together, let's keep shining light where it's needed most.
I've never seen you here. You've been here for a week and a half. How'd you do today? How you doing? Miguel. Nice to meet you, man. Take care, okay?
Government faults in addressing Arizona's homelessness. For years, Arizona's leaders have talked about solving homelessness, but too often their actions fall short of their promises. Instead of investing in compassion, too many policies focus on cleaning up what they see, not lifting up the people who suffer. In 2025, Phoenix spent more than $6 million clearing The Zone, the city's largest homeless encampment. Officials said it was about safety, but for hundreds of people, it meant losing the only place they had to sleep. Tents were torn down, belongings were thrown away, and many were pushed farther into the desert heat, out of sight, but never truly gone. In Maricopa County, nearly 10,000 people experience homelessness each night, yet shelters can only hold a little more than half that number. When the state cut emergency housing funds by 4% this year, outreach workers warned that more people would end up on the streets, and they were right. Instead of offering real solutions, cities turned to police sweeps and ticketing, turning poverty into a crime. For those just trying to survive, it's a system that feels cold, distant, and broken. What's missing isn't policy, it's heart. The lack of coordination between housing and mental health services leaves too many Arizonans stranded in silence. Here at Homeless US News, we believe that every person deserves to be seen, heard, and given a fair chance at recovery. If these stories move you, please subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and tell us what you think. How should Arizona truly confront this crisis? Your voice matters, and together, we can spark the change that leaders keep talking about but have yet to deliver. Additional insights and developments. Across Arizona, hope is quietly taking root, not through big policies, but through ordinary people doing extraordinary things. These are the stories we at Homeless US News are proud to share, moments where compassion still beats strong in the desert. In Tempe, students from Arizona State University run a mobile clinic, bringing medical care and kindness to homeless camps. Since early 2025, they've helped over 500 people, not just with medicine, but with conversation, laughter, and dignity. In Phoenix, local restaurants partner with the Humankind Project, turning surplus food into hot meals for hundreds living in The Zone. Up north in Flagstaff, volunteers transform abandoned motels into shelters, giving safety and rest where there once was fear. Even technology offers hope. The HopeLink Arizona app helps people find nearby food drives, shelters, and jobs, turning information into opportunity. At Homeless US News, we believe small acts of kindness can spark big change. Every shared meal, every kind word, every volunteer hour matters. If this story touched you, subscribe to Homeless US News, leave a comment, and tell us. What kind of hope do you see in your community? Your voice could inspire the next story we tell. Conclusion. Homelessness in Arizona isn't just a statistic. It's a mirror reflecting how fragile life can be when one lost job or medical bill pushes someone over the edge. Behind every tent under the desert sun is a person who once had dreams, laughter, and belonging. You can see it in their eyes, the longing for warmth, safety, and to simply be seen. They are not strangers. They are mothers, veterans, and workers who helped build the very cities we live in. The same streets that glow with neon lights at night also echo with the quiet cries of those left in the shadows. Yet even in that silence, hope flickers. In Phoenix, volunteers walk the streets at dawn with water bottles and words of comfort. In Tucson, churches open their doors when the heat becomes unbearable. In Yuma and Mesa, small groups fight exhaustion just to help one more person off the pavement. Real change doesn't start in government buildings, it begins in the hearts of those who refuse to look away. Every act of kindness, every shared meal, every small gesture of empathy pushes humanity closer to healing. At Homeless US News, we carry these voices so they're never lost to indifference. Each story is more than a documentary, it's a reminder that awareness sparks empathy, and empathy creates change. If this story touched you, subscribe to Homeless US News and share your thoughts below. What do you think could help rebuild lives and restore hope in your community? Together, we can make sure no one's story ends on the street.